Anyone who turns 18 on or before tomorrow and is registered can participate in this so-called off-year general election, where you get to choose appellate court judges as well as county and local officials. A statewide referendum about property taxes also appears on the ballot. Voters Guide 2017. Meet the candidates appearing on November 7th ballot. Here are some important things to keep in mind as you prepare to head to the polls. Hours to vote. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. If you happen to find yourself standing in line at 8 p.m., don't leave. You will be permitted to vote as long as you are in line by 8 p.m. Where to vote. Your polling place is located not too far from your home, but it might have changed since the last time you voted, so save yourself some hassle. Before heading out to vote, check on this Department of State website to find the location of your polling place. Bringing identification. The only voters who have to worry about this are first-time voters, and by that, we mean anyone who is voting for the first time ever, or the first time at their assigned polling place. Acceptable photo IDs include driver's license, federal or state government-issued ID, passport, or military, employee or student's ID. Acceptable non-photo IDs, which must have your name and address on it, include a voter registration card, a gun permit, a state or federal-issued non-photo ID, a current utility bill, bank statement or paycheck, or a government check. How to vote. If it is worries about not being familiar with the voting machine that has you thinking about not going to the polls, fear not. The Pennsylvania Department of State has prepared video demonstrations to walk you through the process of casting your ballot. Reporting trouble or problems. If you sense a problem with a voting machine, tell the judge of elections. But if you want to file a complaint about an election-related irregularity, the Department of State has an online complaint form you can fill out. Your county board of elections also will be open for business on election day, and they too can be contacted that day about an election-related concern. Here is a website that provides contact information for county boards of elections. What's allowed inside a voting booth? You are allowed to take a voter's guide and related election literature right up to the machine and use as reference, if needed, so long as you respect the time of those waiting for you to finish. Obviously, you'll benefit by referring to that guide before heading to your polling place. Voting booth assistance. A voter is permitted to have assistance at the voting booth if he or she is unable to enter the booth or cast a ballot. But there are certain individuals who are not permitted to provide assistance. They are the voter's employer or an employer's agent, an officer or agent of the voters' union, or the judge of elections. Who's allowed inside a polling place? Up to 10 voters at a time, and election officials who are overseeing the voting process are permitted in a polling place, along with a constable or deputy constable, if necessary, to keep the peace, and any court-appointed overseer. If your voting eligibility is challenged, questions about identity and residency are the only reasons a voter's right to vote can be challenged at the polling place. The judge of elections is the one who will make the call. If the judge of elections finds that there is legitimate reason to question a voter's identity or residency, the voter can do one of two things: find someone who will vouch for them and sign an affidavit attesting to the voter's identity or residency, or vote by provisional ballot. Provisional ballots. These are paper ballots that a voter is asked to use when questions arise about their eligibility to vote in that precinct. It ensures voters are given the chance to vote. Whether their vote counts or not will be determined by the county board of elections. Taking selfies. There is no hard and fast rule that applies in all places when it comes to taking a selfie in the voting booth. It is up to the county board of election. But if it's allowed, voters are asked to publish them after leaving the polling place and make sure no one else's image appears in the background.